Let me bang. I do let you bang. Hey, let me bang you, baby. I let you bang. I let you bang. Greetings, marrieds and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfucker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Hey, welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. Me, Adam Hunter. I'm here with Bill Dawes. We got Randy Brown coming on the show. How cool is that? As well as Chris Wade. Shang will be here. We got a lot to talk about. But update on the dog. I told you about the dog that I found, right?
Yeah.
I was on my way to a gig in Bakersfield. I went to the wrong address, right? And it's like a residential area, but now we do shows like in donut shops and homeless shelters and like during COVID. Like there's no wrong address anymore. So I'm like looking like maybe this was someone's house. And there was a dog in the street, so I pulled over to like make sure it was okay. This big giant like black lab, and then this Mexican dude was like, "Hey, you want it?" He's like, "I already got 5." He had like 7 little kids there, and they're like, "Please take them, please take them." So I like lie down. I'm like, "You're gonna be okay, right?" I'm like, "I'm gonna make sure you have a good life." Then some like other dude comes over. It's like drunk Mexican, like 19-year-old like punk dude's like, "Yo, get the fuck out of here!" And then the other guy's like, "You shut up." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And like now I'm like ready to like throw that. Like I'm like, "Who is this?" Like so I'm like mad dogging him, and he's like, "Yeah, get out of here." And the guy's like, "Hey, do you want the dog?" I'm like, "All right, do you have a leash for it? I'll take it." And the guy gives me like a rope. I got a rope. So I'm like, I got a rope. I bring the dog in my car. I take him to get, dog food and like, meanwhile, like he's in my car. So I'm in 7-Eleven. I'm like, I don't know if he's going to attack me. He seemed really sweet. He peed when I went to pet him. I saw him, he peed, and I was like, and the little girl was like, "Make sure he has a good life, please." And they were like, and I'm like, "All right, I got you." So then I took him to the show, and it was like a mostly black crowd, all black. And I'm like, "Man, this is a rough area. I went to the wrong gig, and they gave me a dog." And then nobody believed me. So they brought the dog out. I'm like, even the dog's black. And then they were that like murder, So then I bring home the dog. My stepmom is like staying with us. She's like, "I'm out." Because like I just have a dog with like one eye who hates me, by the way. He's always growling at me. Now I bring home a huge dog, and she's just like, she's like retired. Like she left the next day.
That's great though, right? Aren't you like, thank God I should bring home more dogs?
My mother-in-law, kind of. I would know. She's a big help. But I could tell she was just, the dog was in the backyard moving furniture. It's like, jumping on everything. It's burying stuff. And then the one-eyed dog, he kept going on the one-eyed dog, like, who's like been traumatized, who I got from like this, like, they rescued him from some like meth head that like let his eye get bitten out and bled out. So he doesn't trust men. And I went all the way to like Coachella to get him. He was living like behind like a trailer park community. It was like a rough area. And like, so he's just like finally getting settled. And now this huge dog's jumping on him. So he's trying to bite him, and then the dog didn't even care. He bit the dog and the dog licked my wife. And then it was just one of those, it's crazy. The whole thing was like.
That dog, by the way, if people haven't seen videos, that dog is very cute and looks very friendly and sweet.
Black
when
one?
you got, yeah.
So then my friend from high school was like, "I'll take him." He lives in Philly. So this other girl I know, Stephanie, is like, "Are you gonna give it to Jimmy?" And I'm like, I can't, fly a dog to Philadelphia right now. She's like, "I'll take care of it." So I had to get him like 9 shots. I kind of have to go back to the vet because American Airlines wants this and that, and they don't want that. I had to get the crate and Petco, and then that wasn't there. I had to get an Amazon box. I'm like, having a play date with my kid, trying to do this, doing a podcast, getting no sleep. I just passed out. My kid's building the cage. It was a whole thing. The dog is now in Philadelphia. My friend.
It is.
Yeah, my friend drove to Newark, picked it up, brought it home. The 2 kids are like, the boys are going crazy over it. It was just it was so funny. I mean,
good story. I was convinced you were going to keep that dog because all the videos, I saw your daughter with the dog in one of the videos. I was like, he's suckered in, man. There's
it kept
no way.
eating my daughter's toys. It even bit my daughter's foot. Not like bit, didn't break any skin, but like went like, you know, like it's teething. So she was crying, and I'm like, it's okay. So I wrote a letter from the dog to my daughter saying it was sorry to like bite your foot. So you know, and then it's just the whole thing was like he was and then we have a bunny, and the dog kept circling the bunny cage. The bunny's like fucking trying to get out of the cage, like jumping out. We just brought it like scared. Then the bunny, I had to bring the bunny inside to keep the dog outside. They went nose to nose. That fucking bunny, and you ever see a bunny try to act tough? It's the cutest thing ever. But the bunny was like making mean faces, and like this bunny was not scared of shit. I mean, I had a fence, but that dog could have eventually got through that fence. And I think the dog was trying to play with the bunny because it was like, oh, it was started crying because it wanted to get in the bunny cage. But I didn't want to test that theory, and then all of a sudden have the dog murder the bunny in front of my little daughter.
Nah, it wouldn't have happened. Bunny's got really strong sidekicks.
It was crazy. And then once the dog left, all the animals were celebrating. The Chihuahua was happy. The bunny was happy because plus I have 3 cats. And one time there was a pregnant cat that followed my wife around outside. And I guess so we brought it in, and it like jumped out my wife's window, which was like, so then we brought it back in my house, and it gave birth in my bathroom to these 4 little kittens. And my other cat was so pissed about this. My oldest female cat, when I was gone for a week in Vegas, she shit in my bed like the whole week, which I didn't realize till I came home from Vegas. I just hopped in my bed into a fucking giant kitty litter, like going, man, something fucking smells like shit around here. And it was literally, and then the cat jumped on it and shit in front of me just to let me know it was her. She's like, how dare you bring home.
You have a lot of thug ass pets. Like, yeah, I took a shit. What are you going to do about it? I shit in your bed. Shut your mouth.
How dare you bring home a pregnant bitch? You fucking,
yeah. Like, so you bring another bitch. Well, who the fuck are you to do that to me?
Exactly what happened. So then I had to get like a house for all the cats. And this porn producer that I know, like, loves cats. But I knew him through a porn star. He's like, yo, you got to get. So I brought the cat over to this, like, mansion where they, like, people were, like, fucking in the corner. But there's cats everywhere. It's just people fucking, shooting porn, and random cats. There was, like, 15 cats in this mansion. And it's crazy. Like, I felt, like, bad because I'm, like, the cat didn't sign up for this kind of life. You know, but the cat was very taken care of in this porn house where they were just like people just fucking and just random cats everywhere.
That kind of makes sense to me, actually. People fucking and a bunch of cats running around.
It sounds sexy. I don't know why. Maybe a little horny. I don't know why.
Dude, it was like literally. And then my other dog, they had like, you know, people say they have a pissing contest. They literally had one in my house. It was like my brand new house. He pees over there. He pees over there. He pees over there. And then I also knew that my wife, as soon as I like went away for more than 26 hours, I would have got that phone call. Like, you left me home with a fucking cat, with a baby and 3 cats and a bunny and a one-eyed dog and now a fucking 60-pound, you know, puppy that wants, like, that would have been just, and all that's true. So I like that's the start. You know,
wait a minute, what's with you, Dr. Doolittle? Why do you have all these fucking animals?
I drove to Bakersfield to do a gig, and I went to the wrong address, and it was a huge black lab that was on the street, homeless. So I like took it in.
Come on, black labs matter.
So
that's what, you know what, he showed he really cares.
So I got him a house. My friend from high school, my wrestling team wanted him. So my other friend facilitated him getting flown. The dog went from like literally nobody caring about him, being homeless, to flying cargo in American Airlines, and now having a house. And it was just
power of social media.
You know, Adam Hunter has a heart. Do you see that? You see how nice? Yeah, I saw that. But if it was a black guy, I'd be like, fuck him. I'd pick up the dog. But yeah, this black guy hurt his leg. He was like, help me. He's like, fuck it.
But it's so funny because like the cat that we took in that was pregnant, we called it Little Mama, right? And it's always funny when the vet's like, hello, is this the parent of Little Mama? You know, like it's always funny when like the vet calls and says that. But yeah, so that was crazy. How are you doing, Shang? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm down in Vegas, so I'm doing some shows down here. So I've been good. I mean, good and bad. You know, I had a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on.
Sorry about your brother. Everything. Your brother passed away. Sorry about that.
Man. Sorry, Shang.
Man. So, I mean, aside from that, like comedy-wise, special's doing good. Comedy's doing good. It's just life shit. life shit. And I've been away, so I really miss Cameron and Xavier. So my kids, we were supposed to hang out and watch Godzilla and King Kong, and I've had to do shows. You know how we plan something, but you get a show.
Yeah.
Like, and he keeps saying, no, really, we're going to watch it together. We're going to do it. And so I feel like I'm being a fuck, just like, damn. But I mean, the gigs are coming in. You got to kind of go with the gigs. You got to.
Of course, yeah.
Dude, I finally got the Montreal Comedy Festival the week my wife was like due for labor. I tried like my whole life to get Montreal, and Kevin Hart showcase. So like, hey, come. Luckily, my wife was like 3 weeks late. I even said I thought the father might be black because black people are right. But luckily, so she didn't give birth. But it was like I was like standby the whole time in Montreal trying to be funny while I came back. Meanwhile, my daughter, like when she goes to take a dump, she took a little poop, a little pellet, right? And I'm like, hey, are you done? And she goes, no, not yet. And then all of a sudden, like 30 pellets came out. She looks, she's like, he's with his family. I was like,
hey, she's going to be a comic too. I like it.
I thought that was like the
By the way, that was a good, she led you in. Good.
Yeah.
So you watch her, but she's going to, start smoking you. She's going to open for you, start smoking you.
Oh, yeah. She'll get Montreal at 18.
I know.
Yes.
I never did. I've done literally all the other festivals except for Montreal. I've done Kilkenny, Edinburgh, the TBS down in Chicago one. Yeah. I've done all those festivals. Aspen, HBO one.
Well, dude, you did freaking Edinburgh. I mean, come on, come on. That's a little bit better than everything else. So we got Chris Wade joining us. You guys know who Chris Wade? Chris Wade is a fighter in the PFL, New York State champion wrestler. New York fucking, and this is back when like you had to win the whole state, right? It wasn't when it was like divided. Now it's like divided, like you could be a state champion and just win your county basically. It's like you're like, okay, but this is back, right? Chris, you won one of the whole state?
Actually I won when one of the first years it split.
All right, so you won the bullshit one. Okay, so this guy sucks. But so anyway, no. Chris, now he was a New York State champion, 2-time county champion. Now he wrestles for the PFL. He won last week. He actually won, and if he wins 3 more fights, he wins $1 million for the PFL.
Whoa. So yeah, I saw that. I saw the promotion. I went, that's a chunk of change.
Yes, and he's
buy a lot of hookers with that.
and he's ripped as shit. And his girlfriend's a smoke show. They
all have smoke shows. Every professional fighter no professional fighter has like a dump truck for a girlfriend.
No, well, definitely not. Well, this guy like shows her off. Some guys like are kind of discreet about it. She's like wearing pasties, her tits are out, and he's like, "This is the love of my life," and he's just baiting people to make stupid comments because then he'll kill you.
Right.
So
fuck. He armbarred that guy. What happened? He said the wrong shit to his woman.
No, I got to ask Chris Wade a couple things. You win the New York State Championship wrestling, and then you go to Nassau Community College, which by the way, if you don't know Nassau Community College, I'm from Long Island. It's a college where like it's the hottest woman in the world because it's every hot girl that didn't have to try hard in high school but was just popular and like everyone just bought stuff for her or like had the nicest cars, but like they're like, fuck it. She's like, why do I need to try hard in school? Everyone's just doing stuff for me. They all go there because they spent all their time doing fitness. And it's also like amazing athletes who thought they were going to get a scholarship in like football or lacrosse and didn't and now they end up at Nassau. You won the states and you still went to Nassau. How bad were your grades? Because I would think any fucking good college would have taken you as a New York State champion.
You were doing drugs, man. No. You were on some serious drugs, be honest.
No. So actually, I went to Binghamton my first year, which is really hard to get into.
I went to Binghamton.
Yeah, so my grades are legit. I went to Nassau because I hated Binghamton, and I wound up in a depression from that goddamn place.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It rained every day. I was like, I hate life.
Yeah, the girls are. Yeah, that's why I got sued for $20 million for Binghamton. I wrestled for Binghamton for like a semester.
Yeah.
You wrestled for Binghamton also?
Yeah.
This is when they were D1? You wrestled for them?
I wrestled the first year they went D1. Yep.
Wow. I was there when they were D3. I had Coach Gumbel.
Okay. Gumbel.
So you went to Binghamton. They must have been pissed when you left.
Yeah, they were not happy. Tony Roby was my head coach, but he left. He went to I don't know, like VTech or something like that, and I didn't go with him, so we had no coach. So I was just talking to my dad, and he was like, "Go win nationals, and at JUCOs at home, and then go get another full ride somewhere else." So I was like, "All right." So that's why I came home to Nassau. But you're absolutely right about the stereotype. Most people in Nassau, if you're at Nassau, you did something wrong. You're talented probably, but you did something wrong. You had a misstep. You slipped up.
Dude, I went to Binghamton. I wrestled for them, and I was losing about 18 pounds a week. First of all, no one gave a shit about the wrestling team. Like, you didn't even, like, I went from, like, no one even knew there was a wrestling team.
No, exactly.
And then I'm losing all this weight. 2 years, 2 kids died my year from, like, putting on, like, being, going in the sauna with, like, a rubber suit, not at Binghamton, but in the league. And also
like what I do now to make weight.
Just awful ways, right? I was losing 18. I was so mad. And then, so then I leave. Everybody that got recruited left or got kicked off the team. Then these kids had no social skills, the kids. So then they beat the shit out of these townies or somebody that went there. They dropped the program because
you went to school with those guys that did that?
They were like a year after me. They almost murdered this like frat guy or something. They dropped the program. There's like a riot afterwards. Billy Baldwin gets involved, and then they get the program back and they go D1. And that's probably right when you came back, right?
Yeah. You know, a funny story about that is some of those guys stuck around. And they weren't happy. They still remained like in the school. It was this is weird. It's like a bad movie, right? Yeah. So we used to go out and the old wrestling team would be out and the new wrestling team would be out. And these dudes would get drunk and I don't know if it was like jealous or whatever the case was. And I wound up fist fighting with them one night because I guess they just like they beat up that kid. They were like fighters. They just wanted to pick a fight. Didn't matter who it was. So I wound up being on the receiving end of that one night at the Rat in the basement at the Rat Skeller. This guy swung on me in the Rat, and I don't know how, but I got out of that situation.
Well, you guys were D1. You were fighting a D3 team.
Yeah, I was fighting the D3 squad.
You better have won that fight, right?
Well, this guy was huge. He was like the heavyweight on the team, but he missed me, hit a different kid, and then they wound up in a fist fight. And I just was like, all right, I'm out of here.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, these kids, like, Bill, they would go out every night. There was no football team. Normally the wrestling team fights the football team. Well, there was no football teams. The wrestling kids, and they got these kids that had no, so they would go out, get drunk, and just beat up frat guys every night. And there would be never any girls anywhere. And I'm like, man, this sucks.
The girl situation at that school it's not good.
You know what sucks about that is, these like disgusting fat manatees were like thinking they're so hot because every guy wants to fuck them because they have no other options.
Thank you, Bill. All right. So here you are. Fast forward, you get to the UFC. You left the UFC after a winning streak. Like, you won. At first, you fight 2 guys. You fight Islam Makhachev, that guy who's like a monster. They kept throwing you guys from Dagestan. Now, did you realize how good Islam was going to be when you fought him?
Man, fighting that dude was, I was ready to go that fight. If you watch, like, the first round go down, I think I beat him the first round. And, like, me and him, he goes back in the corner with Khabib, and his mouthpiece just, like, falls out of his face because he's so tired. Like, because we got into it right away. We were trying to kill each other. And that was a big fight for me with the Dagestani guys because that was like, I knew because Ali, they kind of told me that was like Khabib's right-hand man at the time and that he was like kind of being groomed to be Khabib next. So I knew what I was in for when they matched me up with him. And, it was just, I don't like the outcome of it. I wanted to win, but it was an honor to fight that dude. I knew when I got out of there, like, this guy's going to do bad things to people in this division.
Yeah, well, nobody wants it. Then you fight another guy from Islam. I mean, another guy from Dagestan. But then you come back and you win, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm leaving. Why did you leave the UFC after a win?
Well, that was a back and forth, you know. That was like they didn't like me either. UFC is one of those organizations that they want a lot more than you just to win, right? They want
Knockouts.
you to sell a certain type of product. So when you're a wrestler and you go into the UFC, you're already behind because there's really nothing you can do it from your own sports background that's going to really excite and wow people. They want you to become a striker if you were a good wrestler and eventually just kind of throw down. And if you have a grappling style, it's like you got to finish basically all your fights by submission or they don't really want you around. They'll run you into a meat grinder. And that's kind of what as you can see, that's where we wound up in a fight because I think they wound up giving me 4 Dagestani Russian names in a row. Or 5. It was 4 or 5. It was 4 Dagestani guys and 1 guy from Chechnya. That's what they gave me to try to run me out. Because I think Joe was probably trying to find a matchup where he could have me lose and decrease like my value to justify like let's get this guy out of here.
Right.
So even though I won and beat Frankie again on Long Island, it's kind of like their decision was already made up and they were just clearing my contract out. That was my last fight on my deal. And then I was told that we were going to rework the next deal when they found my next opponent. And then they just started kind of like, I was started to become like a waiting game. Like, when that's your living on Long Island, you know how much it costs to live here. It's crazy. Yeah. I just kept saying to my manager, like, no, we got to look for something. I can't wait around. I can't like, you know, wait for someone to get hurt to get another opportunity to try to finish a dude and show them, you know, like I can compete here. So we started looking for other opportunities, and that's when the PFL.
Well, I mean, you're doing great in the PFL. I mean, you only lost 1 fight in the PFL, which was to Nathan Schulte, which I thought you won. I mean, it was a very, very close fight, right? That's what you lost?
I lost that.
Oh,
both times,
Louis,
both
right?
times I lost it. It was in the playoffs, the semifinal. So that was the second fight of the night. They do a 2-fight in one night format, which is crazy. I thought I was ready for that shit because of wrestling tournaments, but I didn't know what I was in for. A fist fight and 2 different dudes in a night that are like trying to kill you, you know?
Yeah, that's like UFC 1 through 4.
Yeah, I basically traveled back in time, you know.
Right, exactly.
I went to UFC 4, you know.
Well, I mean, you're doing well. Here you are. I mean, last week though, you kept it. You got to stop. Okay, first of all, you can watch the PFL, guys. It's tonight on ESPN Plus at 5:30, and then ESPN at 7:00 on ESPN tonight. You can watch PFL every week, but last week you kept it. You're stressing me out, bro, because that fight was way closer than I wanted it to be. But I thought when I watched it live, I was like, yo, Chris might have gotten away with 1, right? Then I watched it again last night, and I'm like, no, you won. You did more damage than the other guy. He just controlled you for longer.
Yes.
But it seemed like you were going on instinct. Like it seemed like because you kept going for the head and arm, like a basic head and arm wrestling, and I'm like, this guy's a state champion.
What, you mean like a bulldog choke?
Kind of, yeah. So all right, man, I got, you know, you got to just own up to some shit. Like I have probably one of the best like headlocks, head and arm, what you're saying.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the sport, like period.
Right.
And I get away with that shit a lot because I have really good hips. And if you're not that good, I'll at some point in the fight, you're getting launched. So it becomes like when I get put in a bad position, it's like a crutch of mine to go to because I'm so good at it that normally if I get in a bad spot, I go to that, I get out of the situation. But with that dude, he's like, I don't know. His coach was like a Bulgarian world champion, Greco-Roman, whatever. And that shit just, it wasn't working. And I was just hanging. He had me in such a tight spot that I was just hanging there instead of like getting out of that. I have no excuse for it. I watched it back, like what you said, with my coaches, and we do it with notes. And it was like a rough note taking session because of that. I got like destroyed for it, and rightfully so. It was like you said, I'm a high level grappler, and I was my family said that shit to me. My coaches said it to me, so it has to go. It's like I'm getting joked.
I just have an overhook. What if you just went for an overhook?
Yeah, no, and literally do anything else. It would have been better than that.
I want to make sure that, because I didn't see it. So you're talking about basically you're in side control and you put your arm under.
No, he's standing up. No, he's standing up.
Standing up. That's standing up. Right.
Standing up against the cage. The guy's got him against the cage, and he reaches back like you see the girls do sometimes, like where it works with girls, and he just sort of just tries to headlock the guy and hit him. And me going, all right, Chris knows something. He knows something I don't know. Obviously, he's a billion times better fighter than I'll ever even think about being. He's obviously he's here. There's a reason that he keeps doing this, right? Like, and then I'm like, but then the guy kept slipping out of it, or the guy kept sagging back, or the guy.
Yeah, he was just.
Yeah, but you know what? If that's one of your go-tos, and you know you're good at it, and you know you're one of the best at it,
but you're not going to get it. You're not going to get anybody who's decent with that, right?
High-level guy, yeah.
No, that's not true. I've headlocked. I've headlocked someone in like almost every single fight. But Adam's right. Like, I didn't headlock Islam. I didn't headlock the guy Rustam Khabilov. Like, the Dagestani guys are really good at wrestling, and it's really tough to throw them with that. And this dude was really, really good at wrestling. So it was one of those fights where you're right. It's like, you don't do that shit. Every time he grabs you, make space, push him away, and start striking him again. And I got caught up in like.
I just thought if you just reach back a little more, overhook, and just kind of.
Yeah, go a little further and overhook. It was really frustrating to watch, like probably the first 6 minutes of my fight or so, until I started looked like I started to get going finally. Like my coaches were getting through to me. But fighting during this COVID thing it's very strange. We fought in New Jersey, so nobody was there, and I felt like I was just in like a weird dream, bad dream. Everything was dimly lit. You can only see the cage. Everything else is dark, blacked out, and there's no one there. There's like one person clapping, and you're like, who the fuck is clapping right now?
I think it was that guy's coach, because he kept going for the head and arm.
Everyone's got a mask on, and it just took getting beat for a little bit to wake up, unfortunately.
Well, it seemed like you were just going on instinct. It seemed like it was one of those things where you let the fight kind of get behind you a little bit. You were just going on instinct. But because you're at 145 now and you're so fucking jacked, like it looked like, because you used to be at 55, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, it was my first season at 45.
It seemed like a lot of the instinctual things you were doing were working because you're so powerful at 45. Am I right on that?
I mean, we're going to see, because he was probably one of the, you know what, when you used to wrestle, how you would say like dudes have like farmer strength.
Right.
Like they don't look that strong, and all of a sudden they grab you, and you're like, what? Like,
yeah, that Russian strength. That's that old slow twitch muscles from.
Yeah,
they're like cockstrap.
Like he was like a slow, just like grab and like not wouldn't let go. So I think he was a bad guy to test out that power on.
Those Russians haven't really evolved since like the Neanderthal days in terms of like.
Yeah,
I know that sounds kind of racist, but like they really haven't.
I talked to Ali Quinta. Ali Quinta taught me, like, when he fought Khabib, he said it was like fighting a heavyweight. He goes, and Ali Quinta is a high level wrestler, just like Chris is. I mean, these guys are Long Island guys, college guys. I think you wrestled with him in Nassau. You guys teammates in Nassau, right?
Yeah, we wrestled. We grew up. We're basically the same age. So he wrestled same time as me, just in Nassau, and I was out here in Suffolk.
So, and he said it's just a different thing. It's funny because, ESPN makes it, for me, I'm not that great at tech. So to find your fights, I have to go to like on ESPN Plus and look for it. So I just Googled on YouTube, And I watched that fight last night, and there's like an older Italian woman watching it. I don't know if she's friends with yours, but on YouTube, if you look up that fight, there's a Long Island woman named Maria who's like, "Come on, Chris, come on, let's get him, Chris,
get him, you get it, you get it."
It's the funniest commentary I've ever seen in my fucking life. It's like Italian Yenta. They're all rooting for you, but they're like, they're like, I don't know. But look, Chris got all the highlights. Look at the highlights. Yeah, but I don't know about this one, Chris. Like, who is that woman? You know that woman?
I haven't seen the video. It could be my mom. I don't know.
you're like whatever.
Is your mom named Marie?
Mary Ann.
I think it is Marianne. I think your mom is on YouTube. She's got like 2 followers or something.
No way. You're hitting me with some shit that I don't know anything about.
That sounds like out of left field. What?
Yeah, wait. My mom's streaming on YouTube? What?
Yeah, your mom, hold on. Chris Wade. What's the name of that guy you fought?
I don't know which fight you're talking about. Schultz?
The last fight. Literally the last fight. The one you fought last week.
Oh, I fought Anthony Dizzy.
Oh, Anthony. Yeah, hold on. Anthony Dizzy. This woman right here. Mary Otto.
Oh, that's my girlfriend's mom.
Oh, dude. They put it on YouTube, and it's the funniest commentary you've ever heard. Holy shit. It's Long Island.
So it was close. It wasn't my mom. It's my girlfriend's mom.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
But at first you were like, wait a minute, my mom's on YouTube?
Dude,
yeah, I was like, wait a second.
What
What's happening right now?
Your girlfriend's Italian?
Yes.
Oh, man. She's deep Italian. Like,
Deep.
you know, Shang, you know what I'm talking about, right?
You know, I know, yeah.
They're Italian, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, it's the funniest commentary.
But you know what, though,
that,
Adam?
That's like very, very Long Island, like you said. Like,
they're like, Chris, do the moves. Chris, do the moves. They're like, do the moves. Like,
well, that's all we do is mock our parents how they sound. Like,
it's so funny. Now, where'd you get this girlfriend, by the way? Because she's a smoke show.
Oh, see, I knew you were going to go there. I was going to ask another question.
All right, what's your question? Shang?
Number one, a win. I know that you can criticize your own shit sometime, but a win's a win, number one. End of the day. And you look at the notes. When you looked at the notes, did you already see the adjustments that you said, okay, I know what I'm going to fix, and the next one I know what to do? Did you kind of go, I got it. I know what I got to do?
Yeah, we went right back to training. So like you said, I went positive mentality, not going to dog myself because I got to fight again in like a month. So if I just beat myself up over it, nothing good's going to come of it. So we just went like constructive criticism. A win is a win. We're in this PFL format, so we're tied for second in points right now. And like, so technically we're in the playoffs. So it's just about fixing the stuff we didn't like that we saw and trying to become better in this next 5-6 weeks, not make those same mistakes. Like what you said, basically, like, don't hang on dudes' heads. Don't rest. Don't allow them to be in control and stay there. You got a dog fight when you're in a position where it looks like you're not winning, even if they're not hurting you. You got to work hard to get out of that position. So we're training really hard to try to fight out some of the bad habits.
Well, you've been fought before on split decisions too, you know, like you've been things that should have went your way.
Yeah. It was nice to have something go my way that I need to have go my way, because the first year I was about to be in the $1 million final, and then that split didn't go my way, and it sucks because it was one of the best striking fights I ever had, and it's like it, and you don't get rewarded for it. So, and then people tell you that's what they want to see, and then you go out and do it, and they're like, yeah, you lost.
You've come a long way, man. I mean, Bill, this guy, he went to Oneonta, right, which is like the party school of the party schools. I mean,
I know.
I had a wrestling tournament in Oneonta. It was my last tournament ever because I was like, I didn't even make it to – I went there. I beat the shit out of this kid so bad, his coach threw in a towel in a wrestling match, right?
Oh, wow.
Then afterwards, I see him at a party, and he tried to jump me. Him and his fucking buddies were like mad. I'm like, I already beat you. Now you're gonna like have 3 guys fuck me up, like fucking like really, like that's. But my sister went there. I stayed at her sorority house. They have the Bong Olympics there, where people just do fucking tons of bong hits and then do like Olympic sports, whatever. They're not fraternities. They're gangs over there. It's gangs, and the hottest women and parties like you've never seen it. Am I right, Chris?
It's amazing. The party scene there was like, I went to Oneonta because of how shitty Binghamton was. That's what drove me to Oneonta.
You were driven there.
I was driven to the party. It was calling me. I went up there to visit a friend who wrestled, and I went to like a weekend of parties with him, and I was like, this is awesome. I'm coming here this next semester. And I just spent a year basically weightlifting, partying, wrestling. That was it. It was awesome.
I mean, you must have got laid like crazy over there, right?
The Oneonta, like I said, Binghamton difference is out of control.
Yeah, that wasn't the answer, but okay. Now this girl,
guys, they don't want to brag about how much push they crushed. Have you noticed that? They're never like, yeah, man, I was.
Well, his girlfriend's an Italian bodybuilder or something. Right?
Oh yeah.
Right? She's a fitness trainer. Like, what is your
She'll
girlfriend?
kegel your dick in half if you fucking talk shit.
What is your girlfriend do?
Yeah, she's a trainer. Yep.
And now, is that why you're so ripped right now? Because you're in the best shape you've ever been.
No, man, I've just been at it. I don't work out with her, but like a handful of times ever.
Right.
So she does her own thing, and I do like my own thing pretty much.
Did she get competitive with you at all about like fitness and shit like that?
No face squats. Go on.
Yeah, she's not. Nah, she knows like that if I want to try to prove a point, it's not going to be super competitive. You know, we do other stuff together though, like spike ball, shit like that you can co-ed, but I can't really bring. She hits mitts a little bit. She hits some pads. Have you ever hit pads before?
I've hit pads. Oh, have you ever hit pads?
Yeah.
Of course. Now, are you training now in Long Island? There's always that rivalry between Ray Longo's gym. It's like Aljamain, that guy Merab, and then there's like your gym, right? It's you, Gregor Gillespie, Ally Quinta's with you guys, or is he with the other gym? It seems like guys are rotating back and forth. What's going on? Talk to me about Long Island right now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is there's no rivalry. People think that, I guess, but there's no rivalry. Those guys live further out in Nassau County, and the traffic sucks, and they're not driving out here. And we live further out here, and the traffic sucks, and we're not driving out there for an hour. So they have their spot in Garden City, like right out by Nassau Community College.
Yeah.
And we're out here in Islip and in Farmingdale with Long Island MMA. So we only cross over like maybe once a week, tops twice a week. There's no rivalry. We go back and forth and help each other all the time. If they have a fight coming up, we go out there. We spar I spar with Al. I get ready, like if he's getting ready for something. If I have something coming up, like Marab, Aljamain, they're out at our practices when they're here and not in Vegas these days, but they're out like once a week. And some of their other guys are out at the gym also a lot more than others. But yeah, it's all love here on the island. There's no like there's no rivalry at all.
Good.
It's not like they meet in the bar and go, let's get it.
Yeah, these guys,
these fucking guys, let's go. No, that doesn't happen. That'd be funny though. I'd watch that though.
Of course,
I'd definitely watch that.
So finally, Bubba Jenkins beat Lance Palmer. That was a huge upset. That's in your weight class. And then you got also Nathan Schultz lost as well. That's in your weight class, right?
No, that's the guy I fought. That was at the champ at 55.
Okay, so Bubba beat Lance Palmer in your weight class. Were you surprised?
Yes and no, because supposedly if you do the digging on them, they wrestled against each other at D1 when they were in college. They were the same age, and Bubba, I guess, used to always get the better of Lance. He was a really good wrestler, and but Lance has been kind of fighting consistently more successfully for a while. Not that Bubba hasn't won his fights, but he's lost some fights as well. So I was giving Lance the edge on just like all the MMA experience, but man, he just reached back to like the wrestling days and just controlled him. I was a little surprised. Yeah, I thought initially going into the season that it was definitely Lance was the guy to beat, but things happen in this sport, and not saying he's out of it by any means. He's not, but definitely the target. Bubba has moved the target onto probably his back as far as being one of the.
Well, Bubba just got divorced too. Bubba got divorced. He's got 3 kids. You put $1 million in front of you when you just got divorced. That's a motivator right there.
I think Bubba from back in the wrestling days, he knew something. He had his number. I think he knew something, and he reached back and knew that shit. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna remember that other time we were in the gym on Tuesday, and bringing that shit back, and that's what I think he did.
So, do you know who are you next?
I don't know. There's been multiple names already thrown around, but I haven't been given one in particular right now. So I'm just training, working on the stuff that I wanted to improve, that I saw myself do, like what we just spoke about.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to hear like any day now who I'm fighting, because we don't have that much more time. I need, you want a game plan for these guys. Everybody's so good nowadays, man. It's crazy. Like you saw Pettis come in and like what that guy Clay did. Yeah. It's like, this sport is one of those sports where everyone sees the UFC and they go like, oh, that's where like, if you're the best, you're there. But in the sport of fighting, there's not a big gap like between 2 top dudes at any given weight class. Like anything can happen.
Look at Demetrius Johnson get finished in 1FC.
That's what I'm saying.
Eddie Alvarez gets lost in 1FC. I mean,
it's a tough.
I have a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
So I noticed that you're a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, right? Is that because do you feel that jiu-jitsu is no longer that relevant in MMA, or are you lucky no-gi so you just haven't been belted?
He's a sandbagger. He just goes up against other blue belts, fucks them up, and then walks around.
I've done that. That's the best.
I'm a purple belt now. I'm moving on up. I've been a purple belt for like over a year now. And it's just what it is in jiu-jitsu is like, it's each instructor. So you got some instructors that like I would be a black belt under right now, because they just care about how much I've been on the mat and me winning fights, right? And they'll give guys a belt right in the cage sometimes when they win a fight. But my coach is really traditional, and unless I'm attending a certain amount of training sessions in the gi, then I'm not going to work my way up in the belting, like for our gym in particular. So that's why I'm a purple belt still. It's because I just train a lot of regular no-gi stuff, like t-shirt and shorts, because of fighting. So,
do you think that the new breed of like no-gi jiu-jitsu fighters, like the Gordon Ryans and Gary Tonins with their heel hooks, are going to be relevant in like MMA? Do you think that's going to really work, those type of submissions?
No, I think, I think it will always work. A guy that's that high level, when he gets you in that shit, you're in big trouble. But there's always going to be dudes who figure out how to stay out of the situation and beat those guys up striking. So they'll never get. And the other thing is Dana and like the big like UFC, they don't want to see that shit either. They don't like it either. So it's hard. It's hard to believe it's going to get big, even though it's effective, because they just put on basically glorified kickboxing matches, right?
He wants to see Rock'em Sock'em. I think.
Yeah, he wants Rock'em Sock'em. He doesn't want to see like Gordon Ryan sit to his butt and like spin underneath a guy's leg and heel hook him in 28 seconds.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see a Berimbolo.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but also, I mean, to play devil's advocate, it seems like that only works to a certain point. Like Damian Maia was a guy who was running through everybody. And
remember Paul Harris?
Yeah.
Like tearing dudes' legs off their body for like something was wrong with that guy, and he was just ripping people's legs apart. And then people figured his shit out, and he started getting beat up like pretty bad. And he got like
pulling guard. Like, what percentage would you think pulling guard is a good idea in MMA?
I never pulled guard once in my career, so I don't know. That to me is that's a bad idea. It's
every single time.
MMA evolved so far away from like the one sport specialization that you can't do that anymore. Like guys back in the day used to be able to just jump to their own back and like have a guy in trouble. Now you're losing right away out of that spot. Yeah. So,
do you think that Gordon Ryan will be a relevant fighter? Because he just signed with one, right?
Did he?
Yeah, he just signed with one, but he's only doing BJJ matches for a while. And then if he decides to go MMA, he has to do it with one. It's like
so they kind of like got his rights and
stuff. So
that's weird.
I'll tell you what, I think he'll be a big deal, and he's a friend of one of my very good friends, Kyle Sermonara and Caitlin Chukagan. She's a 115 pounder. She's fighting actually in like a week and a half. They're really close with them, and from what I hear, Gordon's like I like his style, man. I like how he goes about his social media presence. It's not really me per se, but he's young and he's like brash and he just says what he wants to say and he backs the shit up. So if he fights, he'll be a big deal. He's going to make a lot of money. And to me in fighting, I want to see any high-level grappler succeed and make money because I come from grappling and I think it's the most dominant self-defense in the world, but it doesn't get the respect because people will want to see blood, basically.
Well, look at Ben Askren, how far he went with like the worst boxing in the history of the sport. I mean, he was a one champion and a Bellator champion, and literally.
I bet on that guy.
Against Jake Paul?
Did you? No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Bet on that guy.
Oh. Why would you do that?
I woke up and was like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I don't know. I thought the other dude was like, he knocked out a basketball player. And I've seen those guys hit mitts before. It looks awful. Try to watch LeBron hit pads and see what it looks like. It's not
like
good.
It's like this. It's like,
like
it is. It's like there's nothing.
So
snap at
I
all.
was like, oh, dude, this guy's bit off more than he could chew. Here, Ben's a competitor, And Ben basically came out looking like he needed like one of those walkers with tennis balls on the front to get into the ring. And I was like, this is it. As soon as I saw his body after I had already placed the bet, I was like, I fucked up.
Yeah. Didn't you tweet about that? Didn't you say it looked like a guy in 7-Eleven getting knocked out? Was that
I said it looked like someone's dad that got like got out of the car at 7-Eleven like a little too rambunctious and got fucking dropped.
It was so sad as a wrestler because I love Ben. And I'm like, what?
But did you see it coming, Adam? Tell the truth.
Yes, of course. I literally was texting Ben, "Hey man, like, check out this boxing app. I think it'll help you." Like literally, like I told him about this thing called Fight Camp. Like, dude, because I'm like, I don't want to see this, and you need to learn. But I don't understand why the people around him. Like, I love Tyron Woodley, I love Biggie Mike Rhodes, but why they didn't see this coming? Why they wouldn't be like, listen, Ben, you're gonna lose. But we're gonna make a lot of money, but just be okay that you're probably not gonna win this.
But maybe that conversation did happen. Maybe it did.
Yeah.
Do you believe in conspiracies? Did you watch the video? Do you feel like he took a dive?
No, he didn't take a dive. That other guy weighs about 210, 215, cuts to 190. Ben fought at 170. He hasn't been hit by a guy 210, 215 like that. He never sparred.
Yeah, but
he got knocked down. I mean, he would have gotten up, but he probably would have been like stretched out. Like,
I don't know, bro. I saw the punches that Robbie Lawler was laying on him, and he was not unconscious from any of them.
Here's Robbie Lawler.
Here's the thing no one wants to admit. Maybe Jake Paul is that strong. Maybe his punches are that hard.
That was 170, right? That was 170. And that was when Robbie and him were on the ground together. So he wasn't like throwing, like he wasn't.
Right. Hey, that's a good point. You're right. He was on the ground. That's a good point. So there's a lot of pop taken off of that.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. So, listen, man, the dude he's a big kid and he is strong, and both him and his brother are definitely athletic for sure. And you wonder when what is that called? Triller or whatever it is?
Yeah, that's just the company, yeah.
You just wonder when they run the whole event around that kid and like he's basically the cash cow. Like they can't afford to have him go down to Ben Askren. The party is over once that happens.
I think it might be over anyway because Tyson left Triller.
He did?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not doing any business with him. And now they're said that they're going, according to them, they made all this, 1 million people watched it, right? Streamed it. But now they're going after, they say they lost a couple million streamers by people like, so now they want people to turn themselves into them. They go, you have 30 days to turn yourself in if you stream the event. And then they won't get in trouble. Like anyone is going to do that. Be like, you know what? I streamed the event. You know, here's my $50. Like, I mean, no offense, but like, I don't think that's going to happen. And it seems like for them to pay all those fighters, pay Askren, what they give him $500,000 plus pay-per-view points, pay Snoop Dogg, pay Pete, whatever, Davidson, pay Doja Cat, pay fucking Ice Cube, pay Frank Mir $400,000, pay Steve Cunningham. I don't know what type of business model like they're, you know, and everyone watches it for free. It seems like this is going to be like the Fire Festival, where, but for MMA or for boxing.
But he hasn't, like, when Jake Paul fights somebody, he's talking shit to Usman now. I just think that's going to be a problem.
Well, they're saying, the UFC's not going to let Usman out of the contract because if he loses.
Right, but this is the problem with fighting. Is like, this is another reason that I had big issues with the UFC is, well, the UFC is not going to let Usman out of a contract to go make millions of dollars and knock this guy out, which he should be able to do because he's an independent contractor. He's not employed by them. He doesn't get benefits from them. He doesn't get medical insurance from them. He has no retirement package from them. Independent contractor means you work for different various companies that you do your thing and you go about. Not you're an independent contractor, but one company holds like rights to you for a decade because these champs fight once a year, twice a year. He's probably on an 8-fight deal. So he can't go take any other opportunity for 5 years, 6 years, you know? It's like, meanwhile, he could go make a fight with this dude right now and probably make $10 million just to fight before pay-per-view points, you know, maybe more.
Right.
Wow. Something's got to give.
Him versus Tyron Woodley, though. Him versus Woodley.
Yeah, but isn't Woodley still under contract?
No, Woodley left. Woodley got out of his contract.
Oh, he got out.
So they're saying it's going to be Woodley versus Jake Paul next.
Oh, so Woodley's Woodley's about to make more money probably than Usman.
But who do you think wins the fight?
I'm gonna bet Woodley again. I'm just gonna keep throwing.
You're gonna keep throwing.
You have to, man.
Dang,
no, but Woodley's a different ball game with the hands than Askren.
Yeah,
come on, it's Woodley, and he's in shape. He's in a different.
Dude, Tyron Woodley can hit you with one right hand too, and put people straight to sleep. He hits like a truck too.
But he doesn't. But he's not a full-time boxer like this guy is. He's 36 years old. He's on a 4-fight losing streak.
No, you're right. Hey,
he went out like a warrior.
I love Tyron Woodley, and I want him to win, and I'll bet on him, and I'm going to cheer for him. I'm just saying, is this a perfect storm for this kid where he's been training 4 years straight with Shane Mosley, with Ryan Garcia, nothing. Who knows what kind of PEDs this kid's on.
Of course. He's got to be on – if they're not testing for steroids, he's on all of them.
He doesn't – yeah. He does nothing but box. Another guy, Woodley, fights at 170. This guy weighs in at 190. I mean, according to Henry Cejudo, Jake Paul wins the fight. I mean, he went on a record and says Jake Paul beats Tyron Woodley. He said the Woodley's going to get tired, throw fucking gas out after 2 rounds.
I mean, but Jake Paul hasn't shown the ability to really take shots either yet. So we're going to see, man. That's a great fight.
And I think he knew Askren. He didn't have any hands. He hasn't gone with somebody that has hands.
Tyron was there for a reason. He was there to get the next
right.
He was there to push him after the fight.
But Shang, since you're a black man and you're part of the culture,
what the fuck did that mean?
Okay, if Tyron Woodley loses,
like we're all together.
All right,
in fact, you're all in my hotel room right now.
Now, if Tyron Woodley loses to Jake Paul, like in the barbershops, like how bad is it gonna be?
What do you mean how bad it's gonna be? It won't be bad at all.
Is that like the great white hope?
Yeah, it's like, man, that Jake Paul. No, nobody will give a fuck. They'll be like, well, you know what most people will say?
What?
Hey, he got paid $250,000.
Why to go? It was $500,000 for Askren. Why is it because he's black?
No, it'll be our $1 million or whatever the amount.
It'll have to be 3/5 of what the white man makes.
Okay, that's bullshit.
There you go.
Okay,
But look, Usman, if you can make in one fight what Usman makes in a year with multiple fights, and you lose.
You don't think like Tyron still has that, like, you know, he's cool guys and rap videos. He's a rapper. He tours with Wiz Khalifa. He's in movies. Like he's still like T Wood, you know? You don't think him, if he loses to Jake Paul, it's just going to be like
Not at all. Not at all. No.
Yeah. Really?
I mean, if he loses to Jake Paul, he can't show his face for a while because he reached a certain level of MMA. This is a big risk for him to go and lose. For Ben, it was like the built-in excuse was that he was a wrestler anyway, so it was just like a payday for him regardless. But for Woodley, he was like real deal champion of the UFC. You can't lose to this guy. That's not an option.
Right? I mean, Shang, right? I mean, Ben's
but he'll have enough money to hide for a while.
It's a bigger deal to the MMA.
Have a barbershop come to his house. So we want to hear it in the shop.
Fighters are going to have to hide. If he loses.
My prediction: if Jake Paul beats Woodley, Trump wins in 2024. That's my prediction.
No, I think that he'll have to hide. And what it does is, I don't like it. I think it makes MMA look kind of clownish sometimes to some people. I just don't like it. I think it's, and and plus Ashton had a hip replacement and all this other shit. 2 of them. It's like, it's making it look bad. But I know people are about the bag. They want to get the money. I get it. And they deserve it. I think that's the thing that I was watching something on they were talking about the UFC. It's like, a lot of these fighters do deserve more money. You're putting your ass on the line completely, and a lot of them don't get the money they deserve. And that's fucking it. That's it.
So all right, okay. And by the way, I was kidding about you being a representative of the culture.
I know. Adam, how long have I known you? I've driven through a cornfield with you, motherfucker. So I pretty much – we've done shows with children in the corn audiences, so I'm fine.
That's not very true. I think Tyron also has a really good boxing coach. A really good striking. I don't think Tyron's gonna take it lightly. I think Ben Askren just walked in he literally went for like an hour a day of boxing lessons, and then was like, all right, no, he's like, I didn't miss a practice. Like he doesn't care. Whereas Tyron, I think that would be a huge loss to blow to his ego. Now another great boxing match is going on. I don't know how it got sanctioned, but Aaron Carter is boxing Lamar Odom.
Are you joking?
No, this is a real thing. I don't know what weight, because Lamar Odom's got to be like 230, 240, but Aaron's training. He's been through 4 different trainers so far. He keeps firing his trainers. Who wins this fight? Chris Wade.
I don't even know who that is.
Aaron Carter is the guy. He has that song "I Love Candy." He was like a boy band kid. He's Nick Carter's younger brother from the Backstreet Boys. Lamar Odom is the basketball player that dated the Kardashian that ended up.
I know Odom. He's the basketball player.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a disgusting fight. What?
It's disgusting.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's just what.
That's just gross.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, are they fighting for crack or money?
It sounds like crack.
Yes. So we got a guy that is joining us. Do you know this guy, Chris? He's from Randy Brown. They call him Rude Boy Randy Brown. He is the man, the myth. I watched your fights last night. So many of your fights. He's almost he's kind of like the perfect fighter because he does everything right. He's not just like a guy who's a wrestler that became this. His wrestling's good. His striking's good. His judo's good. Everything is good. And he went through Cowboy Oliveira last week in like a minute and a half. I mean, he just beat the shit and then gave him 2 middle fingers at the end, which I thought was a little bit rude.
God damn it.
Randy, why did you give him 2 middle fingers, and what did you think of that fight?
What's up, guys? First of all, thanks for having me, man. Sorry I'm late.
Okay, it's all good.
Yeah, it's a long story, man. I knew everyone keeps asking me that. It's a long story. It didn't even make sense for me to even. It's really not that deep. It's not. It wasn't a big of a deal. I just kind of lost my temper at the end because of the weigh-ins and things that happened backstage. But it turned out it was just one big misunderstanding. He didn't speak English. I didn't speak Portuguese, and my coach and his manager spoke, and then me and him spoke through someone that spoke both the languages, and we worked it out.
Okay, so next time, just one middle finger next time. It's a little excessive, too.
I mean, I am the rude boy, you know what I'm saying? So
you are rude boy. Now, Randy, you were born in Massachusetts, but then you got moved to Jamaica with your family when you were younger. Why did your family move to Jamaica?
Well, my mom wasn't from here, so she got deported, right? Something happened, she had to go back. And when she went back, I went with her.
Got it.
I'm the reverse. I left Kingston when I was 3, so I came to New York. So came back.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Jamaica. Now, did you go with your dad too, or just your mom?
Just my mom.
Got it. Okay. So, but he stayed in Massachusetts, though.
Adam.
No, my dad's from Brooklyn. He just had like business. They had like a business, a little family business, and he never even lived in Massachusetts. He just had like a business down there, but he had the operation that they had to run down there. So my mom was visiting him. She went to go see him, and I just decided I wanted to be born that day. But we're all from Brooklyn. We all lived in Brooklyn.
Got it. Because my mom left when I was 3, so I thought maybe me and you might have been related or something. But so now then you
see the resemblance. I see it.
Of course. Then you moved from Jamaica to Queens, right?
Yeah, when I was 16.
Now, did you move to Jamaica, Queens?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I went, and the crazy part. Here's one more for you. I went to Jamaica High School.
Now, did your parents think that it was just like Jamaica? Is that why they picked it?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think it was just all coincidence.
I don't know, man. It sounds like Coming to America. Remember when they were looking at the places? They're like, "Oh, we'll go to Queens." Like, now, was it you get picked on a lot? You get bullied?
No, not really. I mean, there was a lot of other kids that were, that were from the islands, and I pretty much I fit right in, man, and just got right in line.
How come you don't have an accent at all? Do you have one when you get drunk?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, I'm from Virginia, so when I drink, I sound like a redneck. But if you were in Jamaica from 2 to 15, you must have an accent, right?
Yeah, man. We have someone. If you want me to talk patois, we can just talk patois. We can just talk patois anytime, man.
Anytime, that guy, he a batty boy. He's a switchy. This guy, crusher.
Now, when hot girls with big asses walk by, does it come out? I feel like that's a lot of time.
What the fuck? What does that have to do with fighting?
It could.
Yes, Chris, the same shit. And like, yeah, so your girl's hot. Yeah, she every other.
I'm just saying, like,
what's he on you? What is it?
He's got to play to his audience, Shang. He's got to play to his audience.
And you can see he's like, no, we don't even train in the same.
No, that's awesome.
I know.
Yeah, so you grew up. Now, you started boxing, right? You're undefeated as a boxer?
Am I undefeated? No, I'm not undefeated.
What's your record as a boxer?
As a boxer, I think I didn't do much fights. So, and I'm not pro. I was only amateur, novice. So, I lost twice. So and I only have made about 7 or 8 fights.
Okay, because it said you were 5-0 as a boxer on the internet.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Nah.
So then you got into MMA, and you've been killing it, man. I mean, I watched some of your fights. It seems like even the fights that like you lost shouldn't have counted. Like the one fight against Nico Price, I never saw that happen before. That shouldn't count. If I don't see the move happening, that shouldn't, because you can't train for that.
What happened? What happened? Give us some details.
If you watch the fight, I was actually winning that fight up until I lost. He was
killing the guy. He was beating Nico Price, and then he took him down in the third. And Nico went for like a
heel, and I twist. He went for a heel hook, so I tried to spin out the heel hook, and the cage was in the way. So I turned back into him, and I turned back into a hammer fist.
It was like a go-go plata, right? He was like stuck in something plata, and Nico's foot had his head, and then the guy's hammer fisting him. And I've never seen that move before or since.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's just fucking unlucky because how do you prepare for that? Like that, you've never been in that before, right? Like,
well, you just gotta in MMA, you gotta expect the unexpected, so gotta be on your P's.
Yeah, and then he'll look at this, he'll look at the tape and go, I know not to spin that way no more.
That was the craziest thing. And then the other fight, the Vicente Luque fight, you thought you were safe, right? Because you were.
Hey, let me tell you about that fight, right? That fight.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I gotta jump off.
Randy, my boy Chris.
Yeah, what's up? I'll see you at the gym this week, bro.
All right, brother. Shoot, I didn't even know you were in here.
Great fight, bro.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
All right, yo, thank you, Adam.
Take care, Chris.
I hope you win $1 million, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
But the Luque fight, I don't want to take anything away from Luque or anything like that. Luque is he's a beast, man. He's top tier. But I was compromised in that fight, man. I was compromised. I had a horrible weight cut. You can see I'm gassed in the first round. I looked nothing how I looked at any of my fights previous to that. You can see I was gassed backstage warming up. My heart rate was like through the roof because my weight cut it just went horrible, man. The rehydration process was terrible.
You just didn't link up this time? It felt horrible all the way through?
All the way through. I was messed up, man.
Randy,
the next morning after that fight, I was pissing black and I had to go back to the hospital.
So Randy, you're 6'3" and you're doing welterweight. I mean, you're a tall welterweight, man. Do you ever think about going middle?
Yeah, definitely in the future when I'm, maybe when I'm done with welterweight. Yeah.
But that Luque fight, man, you got dropped in the first, but you came back, and then at the end of the second, you were winning, and then you had your hand on the ground, and then it was one of those things where he kneed him in the head. But it was like, I could see in your mind, you thought you were safe, right?
Yeah, I thought I was good, but he got to me first.
But you know what? Anybody else, I would have been like, you know what? He was going to lose that fight. But your fights, you always come back. So if I think it was more like a mental lapse, but you might have come back in the third if you didn't know you were safe. That was also a fucking weird fight. But who cares about your losses? Because your wins are so fucking impressive, man. You go to Brazil, you fight Warley Alves, who won the Ultimate Fighter. They're all booing you. I mean, they hate him. They're racist, Shang, over there, right? So
Brazil, yes.
So he fights like the Brazilian poster boy, and you get out in the first. He got you all choked out. You get out of it, which is crazy because he's a high-level black belt. And then you submitted him in the second round or third with a triangle, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
yeah. He was a tough cookie. He was tough. He started fast. He was strong. And we got him out of there,
But you know what? I think that what I've noticed, it's like you never are ever out of it.
No.
Like, it just, like, does that make sense what I'm saying? It's like, it's never even a question like, oh, no, he can still fucking win this. Always.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm always looking to finish the fight. You know what I mean? All my wins, I've only been in a decision in the UFC, I think once or twice. In my whole career, I actually won it twice. And I don't know, man. I'm just always looking to do damage. And since coming up and training, my coach has always been telling me to, mean intention, and do everything deliberately. Don't just go through the motions of doing it. So everything that I do is I'm looking to hurt you. So maybe that's why
that night, you go out in Brazil and just smash. Like you must have. Like, did the rude boy come out? Like, we're all living. I'm married.
You probably had to go in hiding after winning that fight.
What was it like afterwards?
Afterwards, I went back to the hotel and I went to sleep.
Look at Adam, like, you didn't smash nobody?
What? Nah, bro. Nah, I went to bed. I can't go out in Brazil.
He left.
No, it dropped out.
He was offended by the question, Adam. Yeah, he was offended.
Adam says the fucking best funny questions.
But come on, dude. He beat a Brazilian, the poster boy over there. Well, I mean,
right. And you would think that would be the time to drench yourself in pussy and rejoice, but.
Who wouldn't do that? You wouldn't do that,
You're
Shang?
in Brazil. You think
I would have been knee deep in Brazilian vagina. Absolutely.
Man.
I'm saying, but I think
he got room service. I bet you he got room service at his hotel that he didn't tell us.
I think his thing just dropped out. But no, I think but in Brazil, they'll kill you. I think that Bill's right. It's like you gotta. They get.
I don't know, man. I think they'll respect the fact that he.
No, look.
They might kidnap him for a couple hours. But,
big deal.
But
big deal on the kidnapping.
I mean, who's never been kidnapped in Brazil before? I mean, come on. How fucking
like that's the norm. I was kidnapped for a couple hours. They let me go. They did pistol whip me though. They definitely pistol whip me.
How soft does he have to be? Hold on, I want to see if he's coming back. Yeah. I like that guy. What a nice guy too.
Yeah, he seems great.
Yeah, but you know what? It's funny, man. You see people that are fighters like that, and I always go back to it's skill, but the motherfuckers that are tenacious and got heart, there's something about them like, yo, I know he just got dropped 3 times. Like, one of my favorite fighters is Frankie Edgar.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's best.
Oh, my God. I love the fact that he's like, okay, you knocked me down a few times. It's not over, motherfucker.
No. You have to kill that guy. But yes. You're right. But Bill, you're right. I don't know how he's 6'3", 170. That's insane. I mean.
He's extremely tall for that.
I'm 6 foot tall, 215. And I'm not a complete fatty.
You're not fat at all. I mean, you're in shape. So 6'3", 170. By the way, Bill, you're always posting pictures of you and your ass fucking completely out. Is this trying to get girls? It's always like men commenting, straight men. Are there any women that
have a gay fan base?
There he is.
All right.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, now
he's got a ring light. This guy's he knows. Oh, dude, look at this fucking chair.
Oh, now
his setup is legit.
Oh, now he cares. All right. So, Randy.
Yeah, my bad, boys. My phone died, so.
It's all. Now they get the special treatment. I appreciate that. So, yeah, you went back to your hotel. You beat a guy in Brazil. There's got to be women everywhere. Did you have a girlfriend or a wife?
I did. I did have a girlfriend, and but the thing is, it was like a corporate area. There was really nothing there. Like with the part where we were fighting, it was kind of weird. It was nothing really out there.
All right. Yeah. Now your last fight, the whole crowd was yelling "fuck Jake Paul" during your fight. Did you know what they were saying?
No, because if I did, I would have got on the mic and called out Jake Paul. I would have said "fuck" too.
Yeah. He's like, I watched the interview he was talking about Cormier. He's such an asshole. No, he really like even though I'm giving the kid some credit for being athletic, but he's still an asshole.
Yeah, I personally don't think he's that great. I think he's a good amateur. I don't think he's that good of a boxer. I mean, if he boxed any other amateur that was, another good amateur, I think he'd do well. It'd be competitive, but any pro will get him out of there.
Well, his combined wins are against guys that are 0-3. So he's never beaten a guy that won a fight.
And even the MMA fighters that he's calling out, those guys aren't known to be boxers. Like, I think that I'll sleep that dude. I'd put him away. You know what I mean?
Randy, I have a question.
Boxers, you know what I mean? So,
I have a question. What do you like? What's the most satisfying way for you to finish? Is it like punches? Or like, for example, when you do the triangle, beating somebody triangle choke is like magic to me because that's very difficult to do, particularly at a high level. So, but what's more satisfying, like that, or rear naked, or just knocking someone out?
The KO, man. Ain't nothing like the KO.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I like when it comes to like a rear naked choke, I think is to catch somebody in that shit is the one I think is the dopest.
It's satisfying. Man. Don't get me wrong. Man. A finish is satisfying. Choking somebody out is satisfying, but ain't nothing like that one touch, man. That NyQuil. You touch somebody and you see them put down. Ain't nothing like.
But you have so many different ways. Like you had like a standing Dawes against Montano. That was where you basically took him out standing. That was insane.
Yeah, I try to be as well-rounded as possible, man. Just trying to put my whole game together, and just.
Now, a weird story I heard was Nick Diaz was mean mugging you while you weighed in last week.
Yeah.
But do you think he thought you were someone else? Why did he pick you to mean mug?
That's what I'm saying. I want to know the same thing, bro. That was weird as hell to me, So my thing is, I'm like, bro, like, where you think you at, bro? We're in You know what I'm saying? We're at the UFC about to compete. Like, I don't know. He thought he was in the street or something. I'm like, bro, Stockton ain't the only hood, my boy. So,
yeah.
But he also has resting Diaz face. You know what I mean? Like he's mean all the time.
Trust me. Trust me, man. He was like looking at me like, cause I was like, oh shit, Diaz, like, you know. So like I gave him a head nod, you know, and he just like looked me up and down. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's called. It was more an ice cream.
But why you? Like, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe because he's coming back and he's like, oh, this is a welterweight. He's a big welterweight. I don't know what that was. I'm like, bro, that was just weird.
You never met the guy before in your life?
Nope, never.
Wow. And all of a sudden, he just wants to fight you.
I don't know. He probably don't want to fight, man. Nick Diaz don't want to fight nobody. He just want to look at people.
Now, you also ended like Mickey Gall was like, everyone was all about Mickey Gall because when he beat CM Punk and everybody was on the Mickey Gall train. I like Mickey Gall a lot. He's a really good guy, but you beat Mickey Gall pretty bad. Were people mad at you afterwards?
Actually, people were happy and thanking me, for shutting them up. That's the more of the incentive that I got.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
But a lot of people liked him, but there's a lot of people that thought that he got the push a little too fast, and they wanted to see him get shut down.
Yeah, I think he's good, actually. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. I think his grappling is solid, you know, because we grappled before. You know, when we grappled, he actually submitted me one time. And though leading up to that fight, that's the whole thing. His whole narrative was that, you know, that he bodied me, his word for word, quote unquote, bodied me up in practice. You know, that's what he said. So
wow. So he had to pay. He
He let all that stuff get to his head. He was just talking crazy, you know.
Got it. Well, I mean, look, man. I mean, look at what you've accomplished, dude, in such short time. You were on the Contender Series about 2 years ago.
No, it wasn't a Contender. It was looking for a fight.
Looking for a fight. And then you won your last 3 out of 4. They threw them against Wolves. You've had. I mean, they put you in there with some guys. Like, they're not giving you anybody easy. So good for you, man. Who do you want to fight next?
I'm down for whatever. Honestly, I'm down to fight another person right outside the top 15 and then work my way in after that. You know, my next one after that should be someone in the top 15 in the rankings.
Now, are you living in Brooklyn now?
Nah, I'm in Queens.
You're in Queens. And now you travel to Long Island to train?
Yeah, I travel to Long Island. I travel to the city. Sometimes I travel to Philly, too.
Philly.
Are you a gamer? I'm looking at – that's a gamer chair.
Yeah, I am.
What's your game?
You know they have Bill noticed that. I can tell you noticed that.
I do a lot of stuff, man. I stream live on Twitch, you know, so I stream and I do like a little podcast.
Oh, shit. You're legit.
It's called The Pro and the Bro. And sometimes I game here, so I stream this on Twitch too. But what I do is I play PUBG, Call of Duty, sometimes different storyline games and make decisions. So I make decisions with chat and all kind of fucked up decisions and so yeah, I play a bunch of shit.
That's cool, man.
Are you on Tinder or Bumble or
Nah, man, not last time I was on Tinder, that got me in trouble. You know, I was early in a relationship. I was still on Tinder messing around and now that.
Yeah, you can't be on Tinder while you have a girlfriend. That's not a good thing.
Nobody told me that. I didn't know that.
No, yeah, there should have been a rule. There should have been a little note. If they'd have said a little note, if you come on Tinder and you have a girl, shouldn't be here.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't tell me.
I found my wife on Tinder. Unfortunately, we were already married.
Thank you.
Who saw that coming?
That's my joke. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, listen, Randy, man, it's an honor to have you, man. I'm a big fan of yours. You're killing the game. You know, thank you. Anything you want to plug while you're here?
Nah, man, I'm all good. Thank y'all for having me. Only thing I want to do is plug again is my Twitch. You already know. Come show me some love on Twitch. It's Touch and Go 170. And yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you, Randy. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, rude boy. What? Y'all didn't know what the fuck I just did. Like, why are they barking?
Nice guy.
What is going on here?
What a nice guy, right?
Yeah, and a monster. And he's a monster.
Yeah,
too.
Jesus.
No, I know that it was coming on the show. I wanted to ask you, did you see Masvidal's response after he got knocked out?
No.
He was very nice about it.
I thought he's like, yo, that was a great, You know, he gave him props, bro. And I really dug that. And he said, hey, I'm not done, but he had my number. And that was some real man shit right there. I really dug that.
All right. So if you could have a threesome, right, with like Prime, Prime, Pam Anderson, and Carmen Electra.
Young.
Or give a hand job to Masvidal. All right. What would you do?
You always ask the tough questions.
That's like Sophie's choice.
I mean,
no, I'm not no. Masvidal got slept. No, it's not that. You know who my favorite fighters are. Don't start that shit.
I'm just saying. Okay, I mean, like just to have just his,
I really thought
to have his semen on your wrist, right? Like if you
okay.
Like what?
I don't have a tattoo of him on my ass. I'm just saying.
All right, okay.
I liked his response. A lot of fighters.
Somebody please Photoshop a tattoo on Shang's ass
and then post it.
Please. We have to see that.
Well, who's your favorite fighter? You never. Who's your favorite fighter?
I mean, Frankie's my favorite guy.
Okay, so we got
of course.
Why are you biting my guy? That's my guy.
My dad's leaving. I gotta go watch my baby. Listen. Okay. Fucking great seeing you guys.
All right, man. Hope everything's good with you guys' family, okay?
I love you guys. Take care.
Love you guys. Bye.